Notts County talk, or should we say England talk. Branched out from Notts, and we're doing a bit of Euro coverage. Now, this is our first video, and the 26-man squad in the past 15 or so minutes has been released by Gareth Southgate. It's been whittled down from 30 or 32 because Greenwood pulled out earlier. And we're just going to go through our pretty much instant reaction to the squad. Overall, George, before we go into detail, what do you make of that as a whole squad?
It's a really, really tough one to whittle down. I think there's a lot of players that you'd like to see there. For me, Ollie Watkins being one of them. But you're looking at the caliber of strikers we have, you can't really see where he's going to fit in. You know, you've got Calvert-Lewin, Kane, etc. Ward-Prowse as well was a little bit of a shock, and Lingard as well, I suppose. So there's a couple of shocks in there, but there's always going to be. He's not always going to get it right by everyone, is he? But I think in general, you look at the squad, the 26 that are there, it's a fantastic team, isn't it? Great bunch of players.
It is unbelievable. I think if you'd say anything about that squad, possibly the midfield is slightly weak defensive-wise.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it's a very strong squad. So we'll go through, first of all, we'll go through the goalkeepers. So we have Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, and Sam Johnston, and Ramsdale misses out on that. I think that's one we were going to call. I think everyone probably called that one.
Yeah, so yeah, we did. We called that one, didn't we? Because we wrote it down. I've got it written down in my little notepad here. We left Ramsdale out. Yeah, when you look at him over the other three keepers, he's not really going to have much of a look in, is he? If we're going to be honest.
Who's your starting keeper for the tournament then?
It's got to be Pickford for me. I think for England, he's really good. You know, he's played quite a bit this season. He's played, nearly double what Henderson's played at Man U. And I think in general, Gareth Southgate likes the way that he can play. You know, he can play it out. His distribution's really good. So for me, it'd have to be Pickford. Even though he can be a bit of a liability at times, but he's generally quite good for England, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't really like him as a keeper for Everton at all, and I do really like Dean Henderson. I think Henderson was class when he was on loan away from Old Trafford. But like you say, when it comes to England, he's got that Colombia penalty shootout under his belt, and he has genuinely been very good. I don't remember many mistakes he's made for England. And I think Southgate will go with him. I do think Southgate will stick with Pickford, I think.
Agreed.
Definitely. So that's Ramsdale missing out there. We'll look at the defenders. So as you can see along the bottom, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, we'll go on to in a minute. Chilwell, Connor Cody, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Shaw, Stones, Trippier, and Kyle Walker. First thing to note there is there's four natural right backs. You've got Trent, you've got Reece James, you've got Trippier, and you also got Kyle Walker. Missing out there, then we've got Godfrey and Ben White. I think Ben White, he was always going to be missing out. I think he was in that squad just to be in the squad for experience. I mean, it's good of Southgate to do that, but he wasn't ever really going to go, I don't think, even though he can play a bit further forward. And then we've got Godfrey as well. I think they're banking on Maguire being fit. I mean, as they did the announcement, they did remind us that actually the squad can be changed up until kickoff with Croatia just because of COVID. So there's effectively 12 days, I think, more that the squad can change. And I think they just, if Maguire's not fit, I think Godfrey will come back in. But four right backs, what do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously not going to be used as right backs, I don't think. I think you're looking at, Trent can push up a little bit. Reece James can play sort of right centre back of a three. So can Kyle Walker. So I think it depends sort of what way Southgate's going to have us playing. If he's playing 5-3 at the back, I think you've got your options open. I mean, Reece James as well, he's known to play in midfield. He can play central midfield, which I think will help out because obviously we'll move on to the midfielders in a minute. But you're looking at the midfielders, we've only actually have 4. So if we are lacking in that department, I feel like one of those right backs could step up, James being one of them. I mean, Trent possibly could as well, but it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? But
yeah,
Trippier as well. He can play left back, so it's covered for that left back position. So as much as it does look mad taking 4 right backs, they're quite versatile, aren't they?
I think we'll go forward back in the tournament.
Yeah.
And for me, starting right back is between two. It's between two people. This is crazy, but I would say Reece James is my first choice. I mean, he got to a Champions League final and he shut Raheem Sterling out for the whole final. He's improved. His form's just very, very good, isn't it, at the minute? And there's no way he's not in contention for that starting spot. And then also, I'm a very big fan of Kieran Trippier.
Yeah,
like I've always already said, it if you're good with England before, sometimes it can carry over. He got the free kick against Croatia. He was very good throughout the whole of the last tournament, and he's also played 28 games at right back in a league a lot of fans don't get to see because it's not really available in Britain anymore. And they won the league, 28 games, and they won the league. And I know he didn't play for every game, but for the whole season, Atletico Madrid conceded 25 goals to win the league in 38 games. And yes, Simeone's defensive, but he's part of that defense. And for me, God, it's between those two, I think.
I think Kyle Walker, personally. I think Kyle Walker's, as much as I agree with what you just said, Reece James was absolutely fantastic in the Champions League final. I think Kyle Walker's an out-and-out right back and probably the best right back that we have.
And then we've got Trent as well, that we're not mentioned. I mean, he's come into his own later on in the season, but my only issue with Trent is a very good defender, don't get me wrong, he's really good, but would you trust him against the likes of Czech Republic and probably Scotland? You get later on and you play France and you play, Spain, Germany. I don't know. This is where your Kyle Walker debate could come in.
Because I think for me as well, Trent is a quality player. Everyone knows it, but he's got a few mistakes in him this season. His confidence might not be as high as it would have been last season. At the end of this season, his performances have improved massively. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It's just having that trust in him in it against the bigger sides.
But I think the fact that he was even in conversation not to go is ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, but it's purely because of the quality and numbers at right back, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Got Chilwell there as well. Chilwell for me starts over Shaw. Just again for me, I think he was very good Champions League final. He's been solid all season and he's growing as a player. And Shaw's been very good, but I think just for me, Chilwell just above him. In my mind, anyway. But as a defence, we've struggled defensively in recent years. That's good. That's a very good defence.
Yeah, 100%.
Even with Maguire not fit,
Yeah,
Connor Cody's actually underrated, good player. John Stones needs a partner with him that's an aerial threat. Got Tyrone Mings for that. I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think as well, Harry Maguire would just be a good person to have in and around the squad, I think. I mean, you look at Man U in the Europa League final, they really missed him, didn't they? So it'd be great to see if he can get fit for the tournament, because I think we'll he'll be a great asset to the squad, as we all know. Yeah,
I'd also, you've got to say as well that we have got 12 days still to finalise that squad, obviously, because in case 3 or 4 players come down with COVID or something, that's the rules for this tournament. So we've got that leeway with Maguire, and if he's not fit going into that Croatia game and he's not looking fit, it could all change. Midfield then. Now, I think the first thing we've got to look at in the midfield is no Jesse Lingard. What do you make of that?
I'm quite good for him, to be honest. You could say he's not really played loads this season. He's only played 16 games for West Ham. Sorry. But he scored 9 goals and got 4 assists in those. He's literally on fire. And I think 4 or 5 of those 16 goals are absolute worldies, weren't they? So you can sort of, he's getting player of the month and everything like that, isn't he, as well? I think he got 2 player of the months, if I'm right. So he's a player that's obviously in fire and form. I think he would have done well at the tournament, to be honest with you, given the chance. But I don't know.
He was just so high in confidence.
Yeah, whether his mind's elsewhere, trying to secure a deal for a team next season, and Southgate's probably picked that up off him. I'm not sure, but I can't really see why I'd leave him out purely on performance basis.
No, I think what's gone against him is his performances were still of a good standard, but I think he tailed off a little bit towards the end. I think he maybe went to the final 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 games without a goal. And when you just look at it purely on paper like that, Southgate's thinking, well, let's be honest, other than those 16 games, he's been anonymous in the England setup. Has he just had a spurt and now he's coming off the back of that, and I'm using up a spot for a player that's had his little bounce, now he's joined a new club, been the main man, but is he going to continue that? And it's a risk for Southgate to use up a spot like that. It is. But I agree. I would probably have taken him. And then Ward-Prowse, for me, in the Premier League, one of, if not the best, set-piece taker. Free kicks, corners. You've got to be thinking, last-minute free kick to win a game. Ward-Prowse has stood over it. I'm good.
Game changer moment, isn't it? It's a game changer moment. Yeah, like you said, it's set-piece specialist, isn't he? Free kicks. Some of the free kicks he scored this season, Jesus. I mean,
I know we've got that depth.
He's one of those players, like you just said, depth. He's one of those players where you're thinking, oh, you want to take him, but he's one of them that's sort of like on the verge for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think away from set pieces, though, he's still a very good player.
He's
a very good player.
100%.
I probably would have included him. I probably would. He's just, I feel like he's a bit hard done by now. I do feel like it's hard done by him. There's players elsewhere, which I'll mention in a minute, that I think could have dropped out for him. One that I'm very, very, very happy he's going is Jude Bellingham. 17 years of age, 29 Bundesliga games this season. Fantastic goal in the Champions League. I think it was against City.
Performance as well. Like his performance against City was unbelievable. Like box to box, he's formidable talent for his age, I think.
And I know he's playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world, but he's still an unknown quantity for a lot of people. I mean, what have they got? They've got a few games at Birmingham and 29 league games and a few cup competitions for Dortmund to go off. When you're analysing him, fantastic player. He's going to be incredible. I mean, to be playing regular football at 17, we'll go on to our lineup just at the end that we would have, but I'd have him starting a few games. I definitely would. I like his mentality as well. Very good.
Yeah.
Rest of midfield then? Anything to note from that?
Henderson is sort of in a similar camp to Maguire, I suppose. He's got a little bit of an injury on him, so he is a little bit of a doubt. Similar though, like I said, he's a good player to have in and around the squad, I think. So we'll see how that one develops. With obviously, like you said, you can change it right up to the whistle against in our first game, and then you've got Mason Mount. Class, absolute brilliant player. Played really well in the Champions League final. Can't really have any arguments for Mason Mount, even though he does have his doubters. Calvin Phillips as well. Now, Calvin Phillips was one of the ones that I sort of dropped out, but that was purely because I thought I was thinking I wanted to keep Ward-Prowse in. You do sort of leave yourself open to think if Henderson does pull out, you've only then really got Declan Rice, who's an out sort of defensive midfielder. But, I think Jude Bellingham could have stepped up into that defensive midfielder role. But nevertheless, I mean, he's not a bad player. He's still a good player. But for me, it was a bit of a toss of a coin between Ward-Prowse and Calvin Phillips.
I like Calvin Phillips again. He adds that bite in midfield. I mean, you're not going to get interceptions and tough tackles from Mason Mount or, players like that. But he offers something completely different again. And you've got a variety of players. I mean, you've got a leader in there like Henderson. You've got the rawness and the unpredictability of Bellingham. You've got the vision of Mount. Obviously, I think, didn't he get the assist for Havertz in the final the other day? You've got Calvin Phillips. And again, he's playing in the Premier League, but he's not as well known as some of these other players. And he offers that. And then Declan Rice just solid. Going on to strikers then, I'm surprised we've taken so many. This is where I probably would have dropped a striker back and put a midfielder in there. But this is what we've got. Calvert-Lewin, Foden, Grealish, formerly of Notts, Harry Kane, Rashford, Saka, Sancho, and Sterling. And Greenwood obviously missed out through injury, and Ollie Watkins.
The shock in there for me, obviously, is Saka. I mean, he's had a great season for Arsenal. I'm not saying he hasn't, but it's purely because of the amount of strikers they've had, like you just said, Tom. And it's competition. Like, you look at all those names there and you think, maybe you could get in over one or two of them. But yeah, obviously Southgate must like him. He is a great talent. Kind of good for Ollie Watkins because I thought he'd done quite well this season. But it's early stages. He's only just started his call-up, recently. One player that I will mention though, that I can't believe wasn't brought up to start with was Patrick Bamford. Because what season he's had at Leeds. I think he's got 17 goals and 7 assists. I mean, it's better than Ollie Watkins. So to not even be sort of drawn out for me is a bit criminal.
You're a bit of a tear. Bit of a tear in your eye for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm upset, mate. I like Patrick. He's a great lad.
No, he stepped up. Fair play to him. He was getting slated before the season, saying you can't go to a Premier League season with Bamford up front, and he's proved everyone wrong.
You know what? As well, I was one of those people. I can't remember if it was one of my mates put him in his fantasy FPL thing that we all do, and he put Bamford in, and we was all ripping him to shreds. And lo and behold, he was like one of the hot shots to have in your team on it at the end of the season.
What's he done? Yeah. Notable mentions in there. Phil Foden, insane footballer, didn't quite produce it the other night. Jack Grealish, wow. I mean, you want to see how he develop under someone like Pep or one of the managers, known for developing players like not Mourinho. You know what I'm saying? But how seriously good could he be? Kane is Harry Kane. Rashford needs to step up a little bit, I think. For this one.
I think the thing for Rashford with me is he's sort of been struggling with a little bit of a niggly injury, hasn't he, for quite a while. Like all season, I think he's pretty much played through it. So I feel like he's probably one of those players that could benefit from a rest, but he's class as well. So we might count on him at times. So it's going to be an interesting tournament, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, we've not really mentioned him at all here. Or two of them, Sterling and Sancho. To have Sancho available as well in the squad, that's massive. I mean, the options up front, France maybe have better attacking options with Benzema, Mbappe, Griezmann. But I don't know. They have some world-class players, but so do England in those positions. I mean, depth-wise, we probably have more than any squad in attack.
Yeah, 100%.
More promising attackers, Foden, Grealish, Saka. And Saka, let's not get it wrong, Saka's a very good player, and we're only talking about him the way we are because of the team or the players that have been picked around him.
Yeah,
and he offers something different as well. So
my only concern with Sterling though is this season he's not had much game time. He's not been his usual self, and I just feel like he can be a little bit clumsy for England. I don't know if it's just me on that one. I feel like he maybe does the wrong thing too often for England. But
I don't think he lives up to it for England necessarily.
Maybe it's the players around him. He's used to playing with Kevin De Bruyne sat behind him. Yeah,
right. We'll do our lineups then. I'll go first. So I would like to see England deploy a 4-3-3. That's all for the first game anyway. But for the tournament, I'd like to predominantly go with the 4-3-3. I'd go, as I've already said, very close, but I'd go Pickford in goal.
Yeah.
Back four would be Chilwell at left back. I would then, if fit, go Harry Maguire at centre back, and I'll pair him with John Stones. And then at right back, I think I would go for Kieran Trippier. It's Croatia. I want a sound fullback. He's got the goal against Croatia. Maybe that will have a bearing. Maybe it won't. And then three midfielders. I would go Calvin Phillips. Without a doubt, I think over Declan Rice, I prefer Phillips. I would go Mason Mount. I want to say Bellingham, but I probably wouldn't start Bellingham in that game. And I'll probably go Jordan Henderson, Phillips, Henderson and Mount, I think. And then I'll probably go striker, Harry Kane. Obvious picks himself. On either side, I would be tempted to go with Jadon Sancho, one side of Kane. It's so difficult with the players we've got. And I'd probably go Rashford. If not, it's very close with Foden or Grealish. I think that's my pick.
Yeah. So for mine, it's sort of similar, but there's a few changes I go for. I go for a 4-3-3. Same. I mean, whether Southgate will do it or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, in goal, Pickford. Like we said, he's great for England. I'll go right back to left back. So my right back will be Kyle Walker. I think he's quality. Probably for me the best right back that we've got personally. Centre back, same as Tom. We've gone John Stones and Maguire if fit. Left back, Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw has been incredible this season.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
We've just got depth there as well. Like you've got like Tyrone Mings, and then you've got Chilwell as well, who's played great. So I mean, I'm not going to be heartbroken if these players aren't picked. This is just who I personally go for. So that's mine. Back four. and then my midfield three. I'm going to go Declan Rice as my holding midfielder, and I have two other sort of bit more attacking midfielders, Bellingham and Mount. I think we've got to sort of bring the game to our opponents because we've got such a good team. Like, it's a good attacking team. I think we can afford to play a little bit more attacking than we would having two holding midfielders on the pitch. And my forward three, obviously striker Harry Kane, and then for me, either side, I think you have to put Phil Foden in there. He's brilliant, isn't he? Absolutely fantastic player. Great to see him, really. You know, a player like him come through. Pep's obviously done the job with him. It's just difficult to pick that final one, isn't it? Because love to see Grealish because you know he can do it. You've got Rashford as well. You've got Saka, Sterling, Sancho as well. I'd probably go Grealish just for my Knots affinity with him.
Yeah, fair play. Both strong teams. I mean, if they line up, we'll be happy, won't we?
Yeah.
So before we finish this video, a reminder that we have loads of content coming up on the channel. We've got regulars, we've got Jordan, we've got Holly. We're working with Richard from Notts County Stats and Connor Systems. They're both obviously running analyst bar as well. And then we've got Will. Loads of that coming intertwined with hopefully a run to the playoff final at Ashton Gate for Notts. Before we go, George, so we can look back on this at the end of the tournament, who or where England finishing for you?
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one.
I'll go winners. I think England will win the tournament.
Yeah, I'll go with you. I'm not going to go into this tournament thinking anything else, to be honest with you. So yeah, winners, victorious.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, you've got to be. I mean, it's the best squad I've seen picked since
66.
66. No, it's the best squad since, was it 2004? The Euros, was it, with Gerrard,
Ridiculous.
Lampard? Yeah, that squad. Yeah, loads more content coming up. Thank you for joining us. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.